The FJ Cruiser. Although it's relatively well equipped, I used up all my buttons. And I tell you, out of all this neat stuff I have on here, I sure wish I had a way to open up the garage door without a stupid remote. I've had them for a few years here where they've actually permanently pinched the sun visor. The cool thing is I did put this in another video, an overhead console. It's got two sunglass holders. It's got these lights here that actually come on and off with the dome lights. And also when the doors are closed, they're actually wired, so they're also map lights at night, which is really cool because the 07 FJ didn't have anything like this. So what I'm working towards is I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. And the wiring I ran from this light here, and you can see that wiring on the actual video I did about installing this, as far as what wires are what. I'm going to tap into the solid power wire, and I'm going to power up something this truck is really missing, and that's a Homelink system. The neat thing about a Homelink is, number one, it's permanent, it's programmable, so even if you move to another place or actually replace the garage door opener, you can actually use the same Homelink system. So I'm going to actually put it right between the front of this and over there at the mirror. Okay, I'll show you guys a picture now. On the actual part number and which one to buy. Of course, I got it from Amazon. They always work and they're quick. I just ordered this yesterday and it already came in. So the biggest thing, I'll give you the, actually you'll see the part number on that Amazon page, and it ends with all, ALL. That means you get all three control heads. If you order the one that's just black, well, that's what you're stuck with. And if that color is good, then you can save a couple dollars. But I wanted the gray, and the only way to get the gray was to order the part number that ends with all. As far as the wiring goes, it's kind of easy. It's just plug and play. This one here, there's your hot wire, there's your negative, and I put a little knot in the white wire because that's backlighting for at night. Now the only thing I have up in the roof of the FJ is power on all the time. That's available, or the one that actually turns the light on and makes it dim. That wouldn't do me any good. So what I'm going to do is use the power on all the time. Some guys will say, well, that means somebody could break in to your car and actually open up the door. Well, duh, I've had this stupid thing sitting in there for years, and that's always powered by a battery, so that's the same thing. This one here, you really won't be able to see it unless you look in and up next to the sunglass holder that's in there. You'll be able to see the three lights. And what I did is I have a single and a double car garage. So single car garage, double car garage. What I would suggest if you guys buy this is actually hook this up. I have a jumper box like this, and what I did is I turned it on and used those two leads to give myself an instant 12-volt source, and I powered up the negative here, the ground, and this one here, of course, is the power, and this one here I'm going to blank off. This is the backlighting. So if you have either a switched source up there of power somewhere, or wherever you decide to put this, or you can tie this into when you put the lights on in your vehicle, that'll actually give this unit here some backlighting. I'm not going to use that. I'm mainly concerned about this little, looks like a little doghouse with a light. That works even with this disconnected. I just won't have any backlight at night. I know they're LEDs, they don't draw a whole lot, but you know, if I'm out flying, I'm gone for a month, or God forbid I'm on vacation or something fun like that, I might forget about it, and I don't want this to slowly drain my battery. So I'm not going to actually hook up the backlighting at all. Just like this, for years, it's got no backlighting. I don't have any problem with that. So because it's an always-on power source, I'm just going to use these two. It even comes with a little fuse. And then, of course, like I said, just the plug-in stuff for it there. So what I need to do is take off the sunglass holder up there and actually disconnect the power and make sure I know what's what so I can get this hooked up. There'll be a small little place to cut to install this. They basically say to take out this center sponge. I'm actually going to use that, the center sponge, and I'm going to draw around it. And that's how I know where to make the hole. And the best thing to use is use a nice fresh blade inside an X-Acto knife, and it does a really great job on the FJ sealing. And then this basically just goes behind, and then this snaps into it. It's really easy to go ahead and snap together. It's a really nice unit. So I'm going to install this like I do the rest of the stuff to try to make things look like factory. And that way there I have a way to open up doors. If you have a gate, you can actually program this to operate a gate. That would be like number 3 for me if I have that, but I don't have a gate. My biggest thing is getting rid of this and this here. So let's get inside the FJ. I'm going to go ahead and pull that overhead console down that I put together, and then we'll start working on troubleshooting the wiring to find out which ones I'm going to tap into. So one of my prior videos about actually installing this overhead console, those are the wires I ran there, and the actual Homelink is going to actually go right up in here, and there's plenty of room up in there. So I don't want to go ahead and cut that wire per se, but I may double check it because it really is too long, and I don't want to have a bunch of excess wire. The center console butts up against everything. Of course, I reshaped the contour with these foam blocks here in that video. And these are the 2 mounting holes. So between the lips being against here, you can actually see they're indented, which is really nice, meaning it's a tight fit. Those 2 screws hold it in just fine. So what I need to do now is actually get that into place, and then maybe go ahead and cut the hole, and then that'll be the worst part of the way. And then figuring out these wires, which one is which. One of them, again, is full on, and one of them is actually hooked into when you shut the door. The actual lights will go out up here. So I just need to hook into the ones that are always on, and I need to go ahead and tap into those. And they did such a nice job in this wiring bundle because it has the fuse in there. It's got the spare circuit, which I'm not going to use, and the red will be hot and black will be ground, and of course I need this. So I just happen to have a sleeve of foam, and I put that around here. That'll actually go up inside the headliner, and then these wires will come around and hook up with my wiring bundle, and at the same time that one there will go in the Homelink itself. I think the next step is to go ahead and cut the hole to get that out of the way. It's perfect as far as being parallel with the front of the vehicle. So what I did is I just used some tape to basically give myself another line right here, which I know is perfectly parallel with the front. So when I put the control panel in, it's not going to be crooked. So I'm going to actually put it in right here, right in front of the mirror, because it doesn't need to be too close to here. And there's plenty of room inside there. Shouldn't be any problem with putting the unit in there. So let's go ahead and get a template and then get that hole cut out. So you can see I have a little inner part centered up on the mirror, and at the same time it's pretty much parallel with the tape. So now I'm going to take a number 2 pencil and draw a line around it, and it's a really small hole, so it's going to look really nice. It's not going to be that cluttered, and when I get done, hopefully everything will look factory. Alright, I can turn back now and clean that up and just say the heck with it, or go ahead and take the chance and cut a hole. Just something about cutting into the headliner I absolutely can't stand. Anyway, let's get that cut out. Let's see how it all matches up. Alright, so there is the little hole. Nothing like that big old monster there, but there's a little hole right there, and everything will mount up in there, including the little notch that's at the top. Okay, if you're going to use wire taps like I am, when you close these up, use a nice pair of pliers. I like to use my old trusty Klein linesman pliers here from a previous life. Give them a good squeeze, then take them apart and take a voltage reading off to make sure you got a good connection, which I did. So now I can go ahead and close these up, and I can run the wire. And let's see, I'll need a little piece of coat hanger, I guess, to get around that sponge, because I want to try to pull that stuff, the biggest bundle in here, and then bring it around here to connect with the taps. And that still gives me plenty of room later on if I pull this off to replace bulbs or whatever, which I shouldn't have to. They're LED. I should have plenty of room. Okay, that's them closed up. Go ahead and get the connectors on here and get that run in. That's a big wire bundle with the foam around it, shoved way back in there. This is brought around this side here for the tie-in points. And this little piece here will actually plug into the module once I get that snapped up into place. Okay, there's the module, and the other part is on the other side with one gasket. And squeeze them together, they snap into place. I'll hook this power up, and then I'll give it a test run before I put everything back together. Okay, after you cut the hole, you just line the module up with the center of the hole so you can see the 3 tabs that the control panel pushes into. And that's kind of how that came out. Gotta say, I don't think that looks too bad. Quick test. And there's one of the garages closing. That's the single. Let's get everything cleaned up and I can give you another view of this. Okay, now that everything's all cleaned up in the truck, we can see I don't have this stupid thing up here anymore. I don't have to use up any space in here for another remote because I have both remotes right there. So she came out all nice and clean. Overhead console basically comes out in about 30 seconds. And do a quick test. And there we go. Can't beat that with a stick. So again, I don't have the backlights on, only because this is always hot, and I don't want to go ahead and trickle the battery down. At the same time, I chose Homelink because you can move from house to house or change garage door openers or whatever and reprogram this thing, which makes it really cool. Okay, that's about it. I'll see what else I can come up with my next modification on the FJ. For now, you guys have a great day. Again, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like and maybe consider subscribing.